Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Concept Tech 2018 and I am Sunanda Manke, and in this video we'll discuss differential amplifier. Now we'll see the BJT version of differential amplifier, and you can see here it has two common emitter stages, connected in parallel, and they have a common emitter resistor Re which is connected to the negative supply. Okay. The two input voltages are V1 and V2 as you can see in the figure, and two output voltages or two collector voltages are Vc1 and Vc2, and output is taken between two collectors, so output is Vc1 minus Vc2. And this overall circuit is considered as one stage, that is, two transistor circuit is considered as one stage of amplification. Here no coupling or bypass capacitors are connected as you can see in the figure, so there is no lower cutoff frequency, that is, it can amplify DC signals as well or lower frequency signals as well. And normally differential amplifier is used in direct coupling stages of operational amplifier. So output voltage is Vc1 minus Vc2. Now this emitter resistance which is connected to both the emitter leads plays a very important role. If I have Vs1 equals to Vs2 equals to Vs, that is, if I have a common mode signal having a value of Vs, then the common mode gain is given by this formula here, and if Vs1 and Vs2 both are Vs by 2, that is, differential signal is given, then the differential gain has this formula. Now you can see here the effect of this emitter resistance on common mode gain and differential gain, and you can observe here that higher the value of this emitter resistance, higher will be the common mode rejection ratio. As you can see from the formula of common mode gain and differential gain, higher the value of emitter resistance, lower is the common mode gain, and differential gain, there is no effect of emitter resistance. It is clear from the formula. So CMRR is differential gain by common mode gain. So lower the value of common mode gain, higher will be the CMRR, and higher the value of Re, lower will be the value of the common mode gain. So ultimately higher values of emitter resistance increases the CMRR, right? But if we increase the value of emitter resistance, then in the same proportion we have to increase the value of VEE to maintain the quiescent current. Now if we do not increase VEE, that will result in lower values of the quiescent currents, and which will result in higher value of HIE and lower value of HFE, which will again result in lower value of CMRR. So a very high value of emitter resistance is desirable for having higher values of CMRR. For that purpose, this emitter resistance is replaced by a constant current source. Why? Because this constant current source is a transistor circuit Q3, and what it does is it results in a very high value of emitter resistance. You can see here in the diagram R1, R2 and R3, they are giving the same quiescent condition for Q1 and Q2 as was the original circuit, and from the value of the output current, as it doesn't depend on Vs1 and Vs2, it only depends on VEE and the resistance values. So this current is constant, IO is constant. Thus this particular the combination of Q3 with the resistances gives us a constant current source. So thereby replacing the emitter resistance by a constant current source, we achieve very high value of CMRR, plus because it's a transistor circuit, fabrication becomes easier. Now coming to the working of the differential amplifier. So far we have seen the circuit of the differential amplifier. Now we'll see how this circuit actually works. So we have two transistors, we have a constant current source I and the resistance is connected here, and a common mode signal is applied here. That is, same signal is applied to both the bases of Q1 and Q2, and you can see here, if the transistors are perfectly matched, both the collectors have same voltage values, and that is the reason the output voltage V out, which is taken between two collectors, will be 0. Now instead of connecting common voltage signal, if we connect plus 1 volt to Q1 and we ground the Q2 transistor, how this will affect? This plus 1 volt at Q1 will saturate the first transistor, it will switch it on, and all the current I will flow through Q1. As all the current I will flow through Q1, there will not be any current flowing through the Q2 transistor, so Q2 will be turned off. So positive voltage here forces Q1 to turn on and Q2 to turn off. Now we will apply some more voltages here to observe its working. Now we are applying a negative voltage to transistor Q1, minus 1 volts. Now this minus 1 volt forces Q1 to go off. If Q1 becomes off, there will not be any current flowing through this transistor Q1, and so the whole current I will flow through transistor Q2, right? One more circuit. If small voltage is applied to Q1 with respect to Q2, Q2 is grounded, so basically a small difference voltage is applied between Q1 and Q2, then this small voltage will increase the current flowing through Q1, and the current flowing through Q2 will decrease by the same amount, and we'll get AC output voltage, amplified AC output voltage here. We'll discuss this circuit in detail in the AC analysis of differential amplifier. But from these four circuits, we have observed that for common mode signal, output is 0. If I apply plus 1 volt, one transistor conducts, another transistor is off. If I apply negative voltage, again Q1 is off and Q2 is conducting. And lastly, the differential amplifier is responding to small input difference voltage, right? The same will prove it mathematically also with the help of transfer characteristics, the same concept which we discussed right now. So the emitter current from the first transistor Q1 is given by this formula, Is by alpha e to the power Vb1 minus Ve by Vt. Vb1 minus V, it is basically the voltage between base and emitter, and Vt is the temperature parameter. Similarly, IE2 emitter current of the second transistor is also given here. The difference is here we will have Vb2 instead of Vb1. Now some mathematical manipulations. IE1 by IE2 will give me this value, e to the power VB1 minus VB2 by VT. Writing IE1 upon IE1 plus IE2, this will give me this value 1 upon 1 plus e to the power VB1 minus VB2 by VT, VB2 minus VB1 by VT. Similarly, if I write IE2 by IE1 plus IE2, it will be 1 upon 1 plus e to the power VB1 minus VB2 by VT. And what is VB1 minus VB2? It is the difference of the two input voltage applied, that is, it will be VID. Now we know that a constant current source is applied in the two emitter leads. So the emitter current of the first transistor and emitter current of the second transistor will be equal to the constant current source current, that is I. And of course VB1 minus VB2 is the difference input voltage applied to the transistors. Putting this value, I get IE1 as this and IE2 also 1 upon 1 plus e to the power minus VID by VT, 1 plus e to the power plus VID by VT. As we all know that IC1 is alpha times IE1 and IC2 is alpha times IE2, and alpha is approximately equal to 1. This gives us IC1 equal to IE1 and IC2 is approximately equal to IE2, and so we can write the two collector current values. IC1 is this and IC2 is this. Now if we plot the normalized collector current IC1 by I or IC2 by I with respect to VID by VT, we get these curves. One curve is for IC1, another one is for IC2. And you can observe here, when one transistor is having zero current, another transistor is having maximum current, that is, one transistor is off, another transistor is off. When this transistor goes into off state, the second transistor starts conducting and goes into on state, right? So with this plot, we can conclude that a difference voltage about 4 VT is sufficient to switch the current almost entirely to one side of the BJT pair, right? The fact that such a small signal can switch the current from one side of the differential pair to another side, that means this pair can be used as a fast current switch, right? And plus the linearity operation region is very small here, that is, for very small differential voltages the transistors are amplifying, they are working linearly. As the difference voltage goes from this limit to the left side or the right side, one of the transistors saturates and another transistor switches off, right? So just now I explained you through figure, and now I am explaining it through this transfer characteristic curve, that differential amplifier has a very small linear region of operation, that is, it amplifies small difference input voltages. Now in the same differential amplifier we can add two more resistors, two additional resistors in the transistors, and what these resistors are doing, they are basically reducing the dependency of gain on the emitter resistance. Emitter resistance is, right? And the value of this Re is, it is large enough to swamp the effect of emitter resistance. Emitter resistance means the resistance of the transistor's emitter resistance, and that is the reason these resistors are called swamping resistor. And you can see here the different graphs having different values of the swamping resistors. So the advantages of swamping resistors are, first of all, it increases the input resistance. Secondly, it increases the linearity range of this differential amplifier, which is observed from this curve. As you go on increasing, the linearity range increases. Amplifier is linear for larger values of input voltage swing. And lastly, it results in minimization of the changes in the transistor parameters due to temperature. So it makes the differential amplifier less temperature dependent. Right? Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, share and subscribe my channel Concept Tech 2018 for more such videos. Thank you.